Hello. I'm back. Uh, I'm back. Hey there, this is Gabby, an interior designer, just showing off all the creative things that I have. And it has been a while since I've been here. I've been doing stuff. And I'm not about to go into all of the things, the boring things, the emotional things, the very intense change of things that has been happening. But what I will do is get right to it. Let's just get started. So, I have been wanting to review a show called Made by Design on Netflix since it came out. It dropped last year, I want to say around the summertime, maybe in the fall, but it dropped last year, and it's just a series of African architects, designers, creators who are just doing big things. And so it's very interesting because you get to see black faces in these types of spaces and industries. So I've been wanting to review it. I'm going to review it today, and I'm going to start with episode 1. But I also have other stuff to do. You can probably see in the background, I just went grocery shopping. So I have that stuff to put away. But then also, I have my spice cabinet that I just really got sick of over the weekend and decided that I'm going to fix it. So I went ahead and I ordered a new spice rack, which is what this thing here is. It's 4-tiered, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it came with these cute little jars. These cute little jars that have the spice top to them and everything. And I got it off of Amazon. And I'm about to take all of my seasonings right now while I'm reviewing. I'm going to live react to this and doing it now because time is of the essence and stuff just needs to get done. So the jars, just so you know, they came with this cute little like seasonings list and these pre-labeled stickers that I can use to put on them, which is very helpful for me. So that's what we're going to be doing while I'm live reacting to these videos. So let's get into it. What's going on? Hold on, just pulling it up. All right, here we go. Episode 1. Play. The Lady Carpenter. Ooh. This looks fun. Oh, is that a Chesterfield? Did she remake a Chesterfield? I love Chesterfield sofas.
Forgive me, a very simple
It's gorgeous.
chair. I'm looking at the stitching. I'm looking at the thread count in the fabric. I'm looking at the folds. These are the things that I'm really, really attracted to in furniture.
These chairs are gorgeous.
General, simplicity. So I've been very fortunate as a young entrepreneur in my journey. Very early on, I garnished quite a lot of interest and a lot of attention for what I was doing. Not only was I a young woman doing what would traditionally be, considered a man's job, I was a black female doing what's considered an old white man's job.
Oh.
So as you can imagine, I got quite a lot of attention while I was doing furniture restoration in England is an art form. It is a very respected
Furniture restoration is a big deal.
And having started that, people were talking, and I was getting a lot of clients, a lot of high-end, high
it also came with
this
funnel guards
and companies and businesses. So once I got that, a lot of attention was coming my way. We did a job for Clarence House, and that's how Prince Charles sort of came about in terms of his visit to my factory, or to my
she had a visit from Prince Charles.
He wanted to know more about what it is that I did. So that was a very that was a high point, I believe, in my career, and it was my parents were certainly proud, very, very proud. Funny story: my father's called Charles, and my mother's called Elizabeth. So you can imagine the conversation.
That's funny. Her father is called Charles, and her mother is called Elizabeth.
The moment that he realized what my parents' names were,
and they came to visit,
kind of chuckled a little bit and had a little exchange. It was quite heartwarming. My name is Demi Samande. I am a furniture manufacturer based out here in Lagos, Nigeria. I grew up in England. I am one
Demi is a
of 5
furniture
children. I have 4
manufacturer.
younger sisters. My childhood was pretty, your typical second generation Nigerians growing up in England.
Nigerians growing up in England.
For my major at university. Having studied architecture is how I pretty much discovered my love for manufacturing. I discovered very quickly that my love for architecture was really born from my love from making things.
I really think that architecture really does birth in you this kind of sense of certain things. So I'm not surprised that architecture led her to furniture restoration at all.
Something very, very useful, something very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I love that process. My parents were very instrumental in how I discovered my love for building things, because growing up, they were very happy with me to just literally run around the house and destroy things, all in the name of discovering how they work. So I grew up as that child who would unscrew the sockets in the house because I wanted to see how the wires worked. I was that child that just took things apart.
She was very curious as a kid.
Out how it came to be.
Taking things apart, even as a kid, and putting it back together.
I don't think I really realized how lucky
that wasn't happening in my house.
To give it that creative freedom until I got much older and I went into other people's homes and I realized you weren't allowed to just do.
People got to put that stuff back.
Sometimes I even destroy things, all in the whole, exploration of understanding that object or that thing. So it was quite interesting upbringing for me. It was quite interesting childhood.
She had quite the freedom to be able to do that.
My father was a civil engineer.
Daddy was a civil engineer.
Went through that school.
Again, not surprising.
As a child, I used to look at his drawings, and in those days, it was ink blueprint drawings, which were the most beautiful thing. I remember as a child looking at some of his architectural or engineering drawings and thinking, "Wow, this is really, really cool." Obviously, I didn't understand them, but I thought they were beautiful. And I think that definitely, planted something in me that wanted to explore, how things are built and how things are made. So yeah, I would definitely say my parents did play an integral role in my creativity and my interest in architecture and manufacturing. I think even till now they do. My mother is very, very innovative. She's a very creative woman in terms of business, so she's always been very business orientated, and watching her growing up, she'll go and buy things and flip them and find customers and package things. And
so I always find it so interesting. It's something in the Black community. People always find something, especially like women.
Everything was cash.
The fact that her mom was already doing this, she was just taking stuff and flipping it and doing it.
Being, someone who's very academic, and watching him and how he did things and his sort of career path and how he, was very, very, very put a lot of importance and was very, very focused on academia. So it definitely contributed in a vast way to who I am today, merging business, academia, creativity. I definitely say my parents absolutely played a massive role in that. Well, I'm not practicing architecture right now. However, Although I'm not practicing architecture at the moment, right now, it does play a massive role in my process.
Mm.
You know, a lot of my staff, clients, you know, and colleagues always comment that I'm very, very skilled in what I do. And a lot of that is because of my architectural background. It taught me a great deal about process. It taught me a great deal about the steps.
So even though she doesn't
creating
practice it
and
anymore,
building. And it definitely taught me
the
integrity.
architecture does inform
of
her furniture design, and I think that's really cool because
the patience that it requires, the attention to detail,
especially being an
whenever
interior
you try to
designer,
develop
if you
something
think
out of
about
nothing.
doing something
I
else
really
other than just
understand the
interior
reasons
design, it's the
behind
exact
why
same
you are
thing.
building
It
something. It's not
informs
just a case of,
how you
here,
go about it.
Product here, take, use. It's what's the functionality behind this thing? What is it trying to achieve? What is it trying to connote to you, to the user?
These pieces are gorgeous.
You know, what's the reason behind every step of what it is that you're doing?
The tufting on this is insane.
To follow through with that in a very organic and precise manner, you find that the object which you have created has an authenticity and a functionality that cannot be questioned.
I need some of these pieces, y'all.
You know, I guess that's what really sets apart great artists from people who just draw from
these pieces are amazing.
You can see the authenticity behind it, and architecture definitely gave me that. You know, the skills that I use today, that if it wasn't for architecture, I probably wouldn't use. You know, programs I use in my process that, you know, a lot of business owners perhaps wouldn't have the skill to use, and I apply it every single day in my work, and that's because of architecture. So there's definitely skills that I've picked up. Yeah, I definitely owe a lot to my days studying and practicing architecture in the early days. I studied architecture, or I graduated from architecture at the peak of recession in the UK, where many people, many companies were not hiring. There were thousands, perhaps even millions of graduates who could not find work. Now, Major's Chesterfield was actually birthed from a lot of that confusion and me feeling very, very hopeless at some point. So when I started thinking about what I really wanted to do, I was playing around with leather. I've always had an obsession with leather furniture.
Leather is just,
I've always gravitated to it.
The right kind of leather,
so I started playing
the right
around
kind of
with
thing.
That. And when the idea came about for me to take this hobby, because really it was a hobby, I went into furniture restoration, started playing with leather. I'll buy old leather, restore it, and then put it on the market for sale. And it started making money. So when I thought, okay, I can actually make this a business, I was thinking about, you know, what am I going to call this company? I used to live on Maiden Road in London, and I was sat at my window one day thinking, what on earth should I call this business? And many names went through my mind. I tried to think of different acronyms, and I tried to think of, you know, ways of, you know, words that meant something to me. And
oh my gosh, this is beautiful, gorgeous blue velvet.
I lived on Major Road.
Crushed.
As I have a passion
Sofa.
for traditional classic things, I'm also very obsessed with the French language. Although I've never actually managed to learn, I've always had this pull to French, and I always love hearing French. So naturally I thought major, what would that sound like in French? So I googled it, and major in French is le jour.
So she likes French. See, I'm trying to learn French one day. If I ever start really paying attention, I'll learn French too. Bonjour. Her love of French led her to that name. Bonjour. Sounds wonderful.
Now, with number 10 Downing Street, I've been talking quite a lot about business very early. I've been documenting my process from England up to now. I believe I even have a video where I was talking about actually starting a business. I documented it. My very first video, you know, sort of setting out, I documented that. And as I've been talking about business over the years, and I've been getting quite a lot of young people, male or female, who are also interested in business. They've been following my process over the years, and I've been sharing quite a lot. And I think in my sharing, I became somewhat of a voice for young enterprise in the UK. And having, being a voice for young enterprise, a lot of programs in that year, I believe it was sort of 2014, where the UK was doing quite a lot of programs trying to encourage young people to really go out and set out and create careers and jobs and businesses for themselves. I became part of that conversation, and through that conversation we had an opportunity to go to number 10 Downing Street to showcase our work, which we did. And
I'm guessing number 10 Downing Street is like a really popular thing in England. I don't know.
Very, very impressed by what it was that we did. It was another highlight in my career. Again, my parents were very, very proud, as you can imagine. And I think for me, that visit really solidified for me the importance of what it was I was doing. It was beyond just business for me. It wasn't just a case of creating furniture now. Now I was really having conversations about the importance of really setting goals for yourself as a young person and really being intentional about not just
intentionality.
Really understanding
big deal in business
and the impact in which that business can have on others, whether it's hiring others, inspiring others, an array of different things. So having that experience in number 10 Downing Street, and we actually got a job from it as well. We were offered to do a job off the back of that visit, which we had a very good experience doing, and a wonderful outcome and feedback. My furniture style is quite eclectic, I would say.
Furniture
now, a lot of
style.
people do know me for
It does seem very eclectic.
Furniture, so sort of very classic English designs, really English or British classic upholstery design that is actually recognized to be British. That is my go-to, but I like to say it's quite eclectic in the sense that I like to merge it with other designs, because I think there's something about classic furniture that always takes place anywhere, and you can make very beautiful collaborations with that type of furniture, in my opinion. So I'll probably say traditional, classic, eclectic. That is definitely my go-to for furniture. So I get asked this question a lot. As an adult, I've never lived in Nigeria. I didn't have any experience of Nigeria. As a child, because I was actually born in Nigeria, but I left very early, so I had no memory of Nigeria per se. So moving to Nigeria for me was a whole experience.
So she's British. Well, she's born in Nigeria.
But I was inspired after all the sort of publicity.
Born in Nigeria, raised in Britain, and then moved back to Nigeria
creating products
after building her business, or beginning to build her business.
That product to Nigeria because Nigeria was in need of a company like Major's Chesterfield.
Chesterfield. I love Chesterfield
because I had no experience, so I didn't know what to expect. But I was encouraged to come and experience it as an adult. So having come, and I got here, and it was a shock to me.
It was a shock.
Again, lack of experience.
So
having
shock.
experience as an adult, and I was just like, okay, there's in fact a gap in the market for fine furniture. So that's the journey that I've embarked on, and that's the journey that I'm still on to today. And it's very exciting.
A gap in the market for fine furniture in Nigeria.
I
can see that.
Absolutely obsessed with what I do. And I think for me personally, that has been one of the reasons why I think that I've managed to get to a somewhat of a standard that I aspire to have in my furniture making. I'm always trying to improve on what I did yesterday, constantly. To me, it may seem to others that I'm highly critical. I'm sure if you ask my staff, that's what they'll tell you. I'm very difficult to please.
She's highly critical and difficult to please.
That I'm trying to achieve,
Why is that always it? Or maybe
and I'm
she's
certainly
just
obsessed with what I do.
very intentional
So I
about what
think
she
it's
does,
a
and she
lovely
wants the
compliment
best
that
of
people say
everything
that
and what she does,
Chesterfield
what she puts
furniture
out.
is fantastic standard. But I
Just saying.
that we can do so much more.
You got to be careful about that highly critical stuff that we be saying, especially about Black women.
Standard every day is something that gets me up in the morning, something that motivates me each and every day. Pushing those boundary lines is definitely something that I wish to continue doing in pretty much everything that I do. You know, I'm always trying to achieve excellence, and I innately believe that Nigerians are excellent at our core. I really believe that. You know, many people be like, "Oh no, I obviously believe that at our core, we aspire for excellence. We just face a lot of barriers to it. We really do. You know, I have the comparison of how I grew up in England and versus how someone perhaps grew up here. And I can see the deficiencies. I can see where the lack is coming from. It's not from within, it's from without. But in order for us to bridge that gap, we have to dig deeper within. That's my honest belief, because the outer cannot give it to us, so we have to find it within. And I think that's really where the challenge is. Sometimes we don't have the strength to always dig deeper and really find that inner strength to really face the challenges that we're up against. But we have to, you know, and in my business, I find that I'm doing that every single day. I'm having to dig deeper every single day. You know, in order for me to get excellence, I can't always be expecting it to come from the outside of me, you know, to come from my staff that I'm not necessarily investing in. I have to dig deeper. You know, I compare it very much to my team in England.
You gotta dig deep to find excellence. And what does that even look like for some people? What excellence looks like? I mean, that's different depending on who you're with.
And I trust them to just go off and do whatever they need to do and work. And they do. And I'm able to go off and do my own thing and focus on other areas of the business. But in Nigeria, it's not the same, because that upholsterer hasn't been given the same resources. He hasn't been given the same time, education, tools as the upholsterer here is. So it's very difficult to demand excellence when that person hasn't necessarily been given all the resources. Even me as a business person, I don't have all the resources that I have in England. I absolutely don't.
So can you still, what kind of excellence is being demanded? Because basically it's difficult to define excellence or to expect it when people aren't provided with the level of excellence where they grow. And it's just like, it questions even the standards that we go off of what is excellent. Like I was just saying.
But I also
Very
recognize that we have a long way to go, and I'm very excited about that process.
Y'all tell me, what you think? Excellence? How do you feel about it? What does it do?
See how that growth came about in real time. I think fundamentally, I like simplicity. I like simple things with fine attention to detail, and that's across board for me. That's everything. Attention to detail is really what attracts me in style. So the style could be mid-century, it could be French Baroque, it could be traditional English. It doesn't really matter for me. What I'm really looking for in anything in terms of style is just simplicity. When you are working on a project as an interior designer, you come to us to execute the products for you. So we are the product manufacturers. So when we're working on projects, there's been several projects that we've sort of, we've collaborated with interior designers and architects over the years. We've done many collaborations, and we've worked on many teams on their project. There was a project we did in England for Jamie Oliver, a famous chef in England, where we did a Christmas, a very small project, nothing incredibly large, but it just comes to mind, and it's definitely still one of my favorites to date, because there was something very magical about it. So it was during the Christmas period, and they had this ice ring that they had set up in the center of Brighton, which is a beautiful city. And we basically kitted it out with our classic Chesterfields, just loads of Chesterfields everywhere. We had snow, we had Christmas lights, we had ginormous Christmas trees that were set right in the middle of this ice ring, and people just sat around the ice ring, just
gorgeous.
The mulled wine and Christmas dinner, and just family and friends, and lots of laughter, lots of that Christmas spirit was just very evident within that space. And our furniture just tied it all in together.
My favorite
it was
holiday.
Just pure perfection for me, and I think it really just captured that spirit for me, that spirit of Christmas that just made your heart just melt a little bit and just made you feel like, yeah, you're really adding value here. So yeah, that's probably my favorite project till date. What inspires me really is achieving excellence. I have a love for.
I'm back at this. We're back at this excellence thing, and
as a manufacturer, people come to us.
I get the idea of wanting to achieve a level of excellence, but
and a lot of the time, the designs I've never done.
It's becoming a little.
Before. I'm very quick to say yes.
One liner.
Mindset. You jump in and you figure out how to swim.
Because what is that?
That's just how I am. That's my approach to business. So I find it very gratifying when we take on a project that we've had something necessarily done before, even a project we have done before, but we have an opportunity to do it even better. That motivates me a great deal. Amongst all the challenges, it really does motivate me every single day. When I look back on jobs that we've done and what we've achieved, it definitely puts a smile on my face. So my motivation really comes from achieving things and getting the job done no matter what. Amidst all the things that says that we can't do it. That ability to actually get it done motivates me a great deal. A lot of creatives are not good business people. That is a lie.
That is a lie.
That is a fallacy.
I know plenty of creatives who are good business people.
I am a creative, I believe. I have very creative ways.
Try again.
That I do.
There's a lot of people out here who know what they're doing.
I'm a business person. I believe business is what is learned. Like many things, you learn business. Just like I wasn't born an architect. I learned architecture. Now, I believe a lot of the time is we put a lot of limitations on ourselves, and I think that's why I said that statement is very much a fallacy. It's not true. I believe anybody can learn to do business. Business is done in a multitude of different ways.
Do you know how many people create business?
Everybody brings something very different.
It's about what you want to focus on.
And I think people shouldn't underestimate themselves so much. Creatives shouldn't underestimate themselves. Because if you feel the best business person on the planet, the key about business is you cannot achieve business by yourself.
You cannot achieve business by yourself. I'll tell you that.
As 5 times over.
You got to do what you got to do for a while, but you always need some help. You got to have your help.
Invested in myself to learn the art of business.
Oh, you got to have your help. Got to have some guidance. Gotta have some help. Gotta have some guidance.
And you're very intentional about it.
Get you some help, y'all.
You are in fact a very good business person. Because business is not just about you. It's about an entire unit, a team. Knowing how to work with people. Business is about life skills. It's not about transactions. It's life skills. Knowing how to work with a team. Knowing how to be discerning, knowing how to follow your instincts is very much a business
I got it.
trait.
I worked it out.
Understanding that you can't do it by yourself is very much a business trait. Giving yourself the time to fail, the opportunity to fail, so that you can really learn, that is a business trait. That's nothing to do.
My bad, y'all.
Innately a business person. I don't believe that at all. It's just the most misleading thing on the planet. So don't underestimate yourself and don't take yourself too seriously. Because you're good at business does not necessarily mean you'll always be good at business.
I should probably
you must learn
do it this way before I step on, because then I have to move this thing and pull them down because I have to move it.
Considering going into manufacturing, maybe even specifically furniture making, or maybe not. My biggest advice really is you need to understand that the journey you're about to embark on is not for the faint-hearted, and I think that goes across board for any industry. Um, you should go into it knowing that this is it, this is what I'm doing, and no matter what the result is, whatever the outcome is, this is what I'm doing. There shouldn't be an option to give up. So I think if you can have that resolve from the very, very beginning, in your choice to go into
that's always hard.
Manufacturing or any form of manufacturing,
because it starts off really good, but that resolve doesn't always last.
You are strong enough to deal with it. Maybe not all the time. Take breaks, but you are strong enough to deal with it, and it will be challenging for you, but you cannot give up. If you have that resolve already, then you have a very bright future. The design industry cannot save itself. It needs help from a multitude of other industries. We need to start doing collaborations with industries that are not even related to us directly. You know, there's a lot of innovation.
Stuff to say about the design industry. I can't say that I disagree.
And I think those conversations.
The design industry needs to
and I think that
take a nice little look at itself.
We have come to that realization. We're able to hold those conversations and really look at where those real collaborations need to take place. Then we can really start seeing some serious innovation happening within design in Africa.
Okay. So that's it. I'm on the credits. That's the first episode. I'm actually intrigued. I think it was a nice conversation that she had. I was very interested in what she produced. Her furniture was just gorgeous. Gorgeous. When I tell you it was gorgeous. And I don't know, there was just so many little nuggets in there. I will say, I kind of felt there's two things that kind of stood out to me. It was the push for excellence in everything that she does, and that theme of striving for excellence. It was the idea that sometimes her staff feels like she's too critical because that's where she's always leading, and then the idea that a lot of her goals and her focus is on creating a level of excellence, and how you can expect it or maybe alter your expectations depending on who's available to create the pieces for you. And those two things stood out to me from a concept perspective, in that, okay, there's nothing wrong with the basic concept of, I want to show my best. I want to strive for a level of excellence. And that's what I want to bring to the table in all things that I do. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that premise. And sometimes people take that the wrong way. And I don't know. I don't think that it's a bad thing. And I think that if you're working for somebody where that is the main goal and that is the issue, then you have to understand that there is a level of, for lack of a better word, scrutiny on the things that are being created, or the level of quality that gets passed through, that you need to make sure, and the quality assurance that goes into that is going to be a really big pinpoint for the person that's in charge, especially if it's like a CEO or a senior designer or project man, anything like that. So this idea that it's just too much and overcritical sometimes can just be a little, I need y'all to understand where this woman is coming from. On the other hand, when we look for a level of excellence and what that looks like, she's basically saying that the level of excellence that I'm expecting, that I want you to have, that I am used to from being in the UK, is not the same that I can really expect from a Nigerian maker doing the same thing, because the skills are different and the access to the knowledge that is needed for them to do certain things is different. And on that, I get, but it also says, what is there to do to combat that? What is there to do in how we even look at excellence? Is it just that they're incapable of doing what you're looking for, or is it that they just need more time to do what you're looking for, or more direction to do what you're looking for? So those two things stood out to me. But other than that, like, good opener for a series, and it's a short series. I think, is it what, like 10 episodes? It's like eight. It's like 8 or 10 episodes. It's not a lot, but I really like where this is going. So I want you guys to come back. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be more stuff coming. And I'm going to continue putting all of my seasonings together. See, it's nice and uniform. They all look the same. It all looks nice. I thoroughly cleaned these, by the way, before I did this, because don't nobody got time for that. I took them out the box and I cleaned all these jars first. They are all sitting out, separated, okay, and clean before I deal with it. And then, but also, this is going to be so much better for hubby, who likes to relocate my seasonings after I've put them in a certain place. This way, all the bottles look the same. They can go back in the spot that they were taken out of. Easy peasy. Makes my life a whole lot easier. Okay, that's it. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye. Okay, and we're going to end it.